Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath and we are playing Tyranny as a noble mage. Welcome back. In the last episode we sort of picked the brains of Tunon the Adjudicator. It was a very interesting episode, I really enjoyed it. Now we do have our new orders. We have to investigate how we were not able to actually finish the siege of Venrian's Well prior to our own arrival. And Tunon is suspecting treachery, either from the Scarlet Chorus or from the Disfavored, and we have to investigate that. So that's how what we're gonna do. Who's that? Cordius. Odd. Okay. I'm not sure what faction he does belong to. These guys belong to Tunon. This guy belongs to Tunon. Yeah, well, we'll find out. Tunon told us to talk with the other Fatebinders, and I think these guys are Fatebinders over here. Maybe not though. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. What's that? Any petitioners that displease Tunon would meet their fate in the pits below the court. Well, let's see what these guys have to say. I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't for Tunon breathing down our necks. He ignores you with a stern and distant expression. Dude, for a guy that I did not kill, that I acquitted of a crime, you actually are pretty stern. Bloodmulch. Fatebinder. You're no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer to spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. He glances up at Tunon. These guys really don't like me, eh? Yeah, they don't hate me either, but I lost all the favor that I had with them. He glances up at Tunon. Fair warning, when you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant. But we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the tears an interesting one, won't you? He smiles for an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. I gained favor with them. You made us plenty comfortable in Lethian's Crossing, didn't you? He winks. It was nice to rest the spell and focus on local concerns for a change. Having a brothel on hand didn't hurt either. Okay, so they absolutely did not do what I wanted them to do in Lethian's Crossing, which was look after the place and guard the iron there. That was the biggest mistake that I made so far, I think. That's Aurora. Oh, Aurora is who we met the very first thing. Didn't think I'd make it out of the pass alive. You've done well for the Legion, Fatebinder. That's Sevius. Anything beats a prolonged siege, eh, Fatebinder? Enjoy the war while you can. Okay, and that is Albitronus. Fatebinder. The lieutenant gives you a curt nod. I'm ill at ease in these polished halls, but I admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. Okay, so these guys are telling me I have nothing to say, do something else, dude. Alright, then I will do that. Let's move over here. So what about you, dude? My Lord Tunon, I must plead for my innocence in this matter. What are you? Forgebound. You're a Forgebound. Interesting. That will be for the court to decide. The Forgebound are my subjects, and I hold them to a higher standard. You are the keepers of the Iron Secret. That cannot be forgotten. Fatebinder, so kind of you to join us. I wonder if you might assist in adjudicating this case. As always, I'm curious to witness your execution of Kairos' law. It would be my pleasure, Your Honor. Excellent. Smith, offer up your testimony. I'm so happy with all this stuff. I can't tell you how much I relish this. The Forgebound artisan clears his throat. I bought a shiny bauble from a merchant passing through Lethian's Crossing. A stone of great beauty and strength. Over time, I shaped it into a mallet for pounding iron. The properties of the stone were incredible. I could swing harder, faster, and without strain. It increased my production of iron weapons tenfold. until your master grew suspicious and turned you over to me. The bauble you speak of was a touchstone, an artifact known to originate from the old worlds, to which all are forbidden to go. The charge is trespass and theft of forbidden artifacts. You may proceed, Fatebinder. Right. That's not gonna be easy. Did you know where the touchstone came from? Not at first. The merchant wouldn't reveal his sources. But it didn't take long to put the pieces together. You just don't encounter objects of such power anywhere else. When you realized the object's source, did you stop using it? No. Once I had it figured out, every swing of the mallet shamed me something awful. But I knew that I was doing right by Kairos. I was sending his army the best weapons I'd ever crafted. I thought they might absolve me. Guess I thought wrong. Did you ever lie about using the mallet? No, that is, the other smiths were curious about my work, but no one thought to inspect my tools. Since no one asked, I never told them. A lie of omission, then. Just as nefarious in the eyes of Kairos. What if your arcane tool had harmed someone, or yourself? What then would have become of iron production? I don't know, Your Honor. Okay, I'm ready to give my ruling. I trust your instincts, Fatebinder. Make sure that my confidence is not misplaced. The smith never betrayed Kairos. He should go free. The artifact and its use were forbidden. The smith is guilty. Or I could go for the law option. Forbidden knowledge is taboo under Kairos law, but the smith was ignorant. He should go free. Let me return to my previous questions. He knew what he was using, but the law doesn't... I don't think it really specifies not using the artifacts. Mainly specifies not going anywhere near the old walls. I'll go with the law option. Forbidden knowledge is taboo, but the smith was ignorant. I gained 8 low skill experience. So, I can go. He looks from you to Tunon and back again with panic and uncertainty. A shrewd interpretation of Kairos' law, but I cannot deny its validity. Very well. The forge-bound may return to his duties, using only the tools of his trade. Is that understood? Yes, Your Honor. I'll return to my labors right away. Okay. I gained an achievement. I am the law. Let's have a look at it. Become a seasoned adjudicator. Okay. I guess so. I'm actually quite happy that I can most of the times go for the law option and get a correct ruling. I mean, I do my best to sort of rule on my own. But in terms of helping Kairos, it actually did help to let this guy go free. He's going to produce more iron. And I don't think he meant ill. I would have ruled differently if he were using the thing for his own purposes, but all he did was basically produce iron for Kairos, so you can't really fault him for that. Let's talk with Fatebinder Nunoval first. Horath Drak, you return unscathed and more claimed than ever, as seems to be your way. Oh, he's just a Tunon guy. Okay then. The Fatebinder of War clasps you good-naturedly and with excessive strength on the back. Come, you must regale me with all that your journey has held. I could use a moment of respite between friends. He regards you with a warm, boisterous smile. The Fatebinder of War. I didn't know that the Fatebinders had titles like that as well. That's odd. Okay. Speak as you wish. I'd pay a boar's weight in rings to know your thoughts. He rakes a hand through his thick red beard and offers you a grin. Come, let us speak freely. Okay. How were you singled out to become a Fatebinder? I cannot speak for the other Fatebinders, but I joined the court when I was yet still a boy, and impetuous beyond reason. I had been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of desecrating corpses. Dude, you're weird. He laughs hard and hearty. It was nothing so exciting as you're no doubt imagining. I was merely burning corpses that awaited burial. Before the local authority could see me to the gallows, the adjudicator claimed me a great talent waiting to be realized, needing only to be steered. Why burn the bodies? Corpses piling in the streets spread plague faster than the filthiest of rats. I was but 10 and a weak fighter. I did what I could for my homeland. Why was it a crime? There was a time when even the Northmen were of superstitious stock. A time before Kairos brought reason to the realms. The people of my city believed that, without proper rites, I was cheating our fallen warriors from returning to the land. It's a good thing Tunon spared you. As I have said, the adjudicator saw within me something of rare value, as is true for us all. You as well were chosen for our great court, for which I am grateful. As the Fatebinder of War, I rely heavily on your talents. Let's talk about something else. I'm curious about Tunon's masks. They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me. But I can assure you, the innocent need not fear their objective, emotionless gaze. What of the adjudicator's mask specifically would you like to know? Okay. I want to know about the silent face. The silent face is the face that Tunon shows to us now. And for that we are fortunate beyond belief. The silent face is a patient face. A face for listening, as Tunon presides over all matters brought to the court, taking great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. I want to know about the face of resolve. Tunon's last known donning of the face of resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts in the bastard city. Since then he has ruled our northern tier justly, calmly, and with efficient diplomacy. I want to know about the face that is no more. Tunon is said to have worn a third mask in eons past. I've heard rumor that the face displeased Kairos, and thus was destroyed, as happens to all persons and objects that displease our overlord. Have you ever seen him change his masks? In the way that you or I would change our raiment? No, not as such. And yet I've seen the masks shift. They switch without the adjudicator or anyone so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a time, you merely realize it has already happened. There's work enough for the court that we shouldn't occupy ourselves wandering over mysteries. Okay, let me ask about something else. Could you remind me of the history and origins of the Fatebinders? The seasoned warrior rubs a finger against the line of stubble along his cheek. We are a relatively young order, though we have spanned these past 2 centuries. While the voices of Nerat and Graven Ash need armies to execute their will, Tunon wields but a modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in all of Territos beyond our judgment. Tell me about Kairos' armies, our allies. Ah, yes, with friends like these, our work is often self-explanatory. Were you asking about the Scarlet Chorus or the Disfavored? Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus. Scarlet Chorus soldiers hail from every corner of every realm. As the chorus marches, it conscripts indiscriminately from those it has conquered to replenish its ranks. There's no continuity of command in the chorus. Nerat allows, encourages even, the strong to challenge their leaders. But the chorus has numbers, and brute force is almost always a viable solution, much as Rogalus insists otherwise. Besides, the Scarlet Chorus draws strength from the multitudes it swallows. Its blood chanters have taken knowledge from various tiers mystics, and many of the Chorus' best soldiers were grown here in the south. Tell me about the Disfavored. The Disfavored are the iron tip of Kairos' great phalanx. Armed with the best weapons, the most comprehensive training, and led by the brilliant Graven Ash, the Disfavored have no equals in open battle. The Legion has a saying, Graven Ash protects, and it's no empty boast. The Archon of War is able to lend his will and strength to his soldiers and give them endurance beyond human limits. I wonder why he's telling me a lot of stuff that I already know. I have great respect for the disfavored, but I know where I stand with them. They are a very close-knit band, all of them from northern families, many of them related to each other. Nunoval sighs, his smile wistful. But considering our role in the great hierarchy, I can't fault General Ash for being selective. Okay, let me ask about something else. I've claimed the spire at Venrian's well. So, the court's whispers are true. The Fatebinder rubs his fingers along the underside of his chin, pondering his thoughts with great weight. After a moment, he offers a wistful sort of smile. Someday, I would like to witness for myself this tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky. Okay. I would hear of your past victories in the war of recent events. Have you not yet tired of my tales, Horath Drak? I do admit I never tire of telling them. He laughs hearty and deep. Very well then, let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos' reign fall on any ears that would hear of it. Recently, I've taken to studying the prowess of the southern beastmen, particularly the wild tribes, and have reflected on their potential merit as allies. The Scarlet Chorus is wise to desire their strength, a strength I once faced, and myself barely survived. The disfavored ought to consider arming them for battle, rather than merely working them as slaves. Okay, yeah, I guess he has nothing more to say then. Farewell, Nunoval. Who are you? Kaleo. Kaleo? I don't know. Horath Drak, I see you've returned to the fold. Your exploits in Venrian's well are the matter of some discussion. The Fatebinder of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel as if she's trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. What can I do for you? Kaleo touches a gentle hand to your shoulder. Has anything happened while I was away? There have been whispers that Kern grew disloyal to Graven Ash's command during the campaign in Azure. I took up the mantle of investigation near Plainsgate, and judging the rumors to be true, dispatched Kern by proclaiming Kairos' Edict of Stone. The very earth turned against the traitorous Archon as the region split asunder in righteous judgment. So she's been proclaiming the Edict of Stone. Interesting. You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me? Don't act so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Adjudicator's name adhere to the spirit of his law. It's not the very letter, if not the very letter. Of course, I've got nothing to hide. So you say, but I have to weigh all evidence presented before me with an objective eye. Assume you're being watched, Fatebinder, but don't concern yourself. That's no more than any citizen of the Empire can expect. How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? Tunon sends me on assignments here and there. I settle disputes between the locals, when the Adjudicator is otherwise occupied. She smirks. Everything from trade disagreements to pushing chorus squatters out of basements. Real rewarding work. She waves it off. The glory of war is not an honor reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunon's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We're rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the way to look at it. I'd like to know more about Tunon. Tunon is our overlord's fair and exacting adjudicator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos' law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on, or does he intimidate you still? She chuckles softly. I jest, of course. I get the feeling that this person is a real bitch. I'm not sure why, but she strikes me as a person that would make fun of others and really rub it in if something goes wrong and all that. I have some concerns about the war. You're free to share them in my confidence. She leans in closer. Our army squabble at each other's throats. Divided, we cannot win. I am less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. Who would you see as champion? That is favored. Our elite troops will bring us to victory. I think so. There's wisdom behind your reasoning. Wars are won through cunning, strategy, and strength. The disfavored are outmatched only in number on the battlefield. Considering the opposition, Ash and his soldiers more than make up the difference. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm talking to her. I'd rather would have gotten something useful out of them, but I guess I have to do my own investigation. Let's talk with Rogulus and then we're done here, I think. Fatebinder, you return. Rogulus looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I'm feeling generous. Tell me about some of the past Archons. Much that was known has been lost regarding the first Archon of Frost, but his talents were improved upon by 3 following Archons. Sisters, born together and never since seen apart. It is said Rana, Nirabel, and Slayer were so cold at birth that they were thought stillborn. Okay, I sort of was expecting to be able to ask more, but oh well, he's not going to talk more. Where did you study when you were younger? I've been a ward of the court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I absorbed all that Tunon and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all the lectures and wishing I could learn at my pace. Funny how I envied the sages of the Tears, how they could spend their whole lives reading and never exhaust their library. Of course, now the Vellum Citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. What do you think of the other Fatebinders? You'll need to be more specific than that. I'm afraid there is, on last count, slightly more than a handful of us. What about the Fatebinder of War? Nunaval is keen, brash, and a hearty braggart with a fondness for bloodshed. He can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he skews towards rather exacting and uncompromising punishments at times. You'll need to be... Okay, what about the Fatebinder of Balance? Kaleo is the finest among us. Her discernment is beyond reproach, and she's perhaps Tunan's favorite. She has a mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We, who operate within the confines of the law, have nothing to fear, of course. That's why she's being such a bitch, because she is the top dog in all this. She knows she's the teacher's pet. And I guess she makes sure that her peers feel that. I really don't like her. Well, maybe it'll change, but we'll see how it goes. And what's your opinion of me? You follow an orderly path, regimented and organized. Perhaps too orderly for our station, but that is neither here nor there if you execute your job with wisdom. Be sure you don't stray to the path of chaos. Down that way lies rebellion. Okay, let's talk about something else. Tell me about the old walls and the Bane. With which should I start? Start with the old walls. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidding ruins crisscrossed the Tiers and North alike centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Right, let's discuss something else. Let's talk about the Tiers. The political entities of the Tiers are essentially split between the Bastard Tier, the Younger Realms, and the Free Cities. Sorry, of which would you like to know? Start with the Bastard Tier. The Bastard Tier is the most northern of the Tiers and was the first to bow to Kairos' reign. Though the knee they bent fell unwillingly, Kairos had his eye on the Bastard Tier for many years before he marched on her capital city. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets, and the people will follow. I'm curious to know more about the Younger Realms. The Younger Realms sprawl the middle and southernmost tiers and can be catalogued as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, and Stalwart. Azure was renowned for its exceptionally fertile land, which fed the whole of the tiers. That was before Kairos' Edict of Stone blighted the land. Stalwart is also worth mentioning, for it comprises the whole of the southernmost tier and proves the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It's often said that the other realms will not fall while stalwart yet stands. The local army wages bitter war against the disfavored, though the Edict of Storms has cut off the best of their defenses. It is only a matter of time before stalwart falls. Okay, what about the free cities? There are 3 free cities remaining: Last Harbor, Spiral's Moor, and Barry in Chain, or Barris in Chains. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kairos crushed in 429 in the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. Back to my previous questions. Okay, what about the sages? I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons, wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deceptions and clever manipulations. They alone caused their own undoing and are solely to blame for the burning library, one of the most grievous of wrongs in the known histories for which they can never be forgiven. This guy sounds like he has a bone to pick. Okay, well, farewell. We talk with the Fatebinders. I doubt that we can do anything else. I would have liked to talk with these guys about my own sort of orders, but I mean, what can you do? They're not willing to do it. I can talk with these guys, but they're not going to say anything. Is Tunon looking at me? I can never tell. I've never seen Tunon touch the ground. I wonder where he sleeps, if he sleeps. That is what you're thinking about? Really? Kairos is standard, an imposing sight for both conquered and unconquered alike. Yeah. And I think we already talked with Lady Lucretius. With nothing further to discuss. Yeah, she's annoyed because her home is gone. Oh, what are you? Oh, an Archon! Bleden Mark! Welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict drop. I guess I'm glad you lived. Oh. And he doesn't have any sign. I guess that would make sense. He's the guy of shadows after all. Bleden Mark, Archon of Shadows, rouses from a faraway stare, turning to face you with a wry smile. Though he stands still, he seems to sift in and out of the shadows that shroud him. I gain favor with him. Hear you threw your rings on Graven Ash's side. Not a bad bet to pick the Archon of War. But tell me the truth. Did you go with Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do? Or because supporting the voices was a worse option? What's it to you, Archon of the Elderly? Holy crap. No, no, no. Play your cards close to the chest. I think this is the thing. Our lives depended on military success. I was not about to hand control to the Archon of Secrets. Don't trust the voices. Looks like you do have brains. All that matters is that the Edict of Execution was stayed. Those stationed at Vendrian's Well should be thanking you for their lives. Now, I assume you're off to go meet with Ash. But first, you and I need to have a little chat. I'm listening. Everyone's keeping an eye on you, because you did something nobody has done before. Got a guess as to what that might be? There's a lot of options. First, Fatebinder to engage in a war against ally soldiers. First, to proclaim 2 edicts. First, to resolve an edict before its consequences came to pass. First, to awaken a spire of the old walls. First, to take an evasive stance against your rhetorical questions. I like that one. Let me guess, I'm the first Fatebinder Kairos has decided to promote to some position of authority. Can't you just tell me? I really like that the glare silently option is always in there. If I do a Path of the Damned playthrough, I'm gonna go for the glare silently option all the way. We're not gonna say anything ever. Okay, I'm the first to resolve an edict before its consequences came to pass. Close, but not quite. It's rare, but it's not the first time that Kairos has issued an edict primarily as a threat, providing the target sufficient time and motivation to comply in order to avoid the edict's punishing effects. Oh, I'm already at level 1 favor. Nice. Proclaiming an edict isn't new. Neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict. But you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you had proclaimed, and woke an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries. And now I go on your shortlist of people who stand out as potential problems. More or less. Mostly more. He offers you a dangerous grin. Man, he really looks like someone you don't want to mess with. I'm already at level 2. I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Yeah, I guess that is the lesson, or the lesson that I should learn from this, and that everyone should learn if you're in a regime of evil, in tyranny. Then if you stick your head out, it gets cut off. Sticking with the disfavored is a smart idea, kid. At least smarter than getting mixed up with the Archon of Secrets. You'll never really be one of them, but if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you best they can. Thanks for the advice. The Archon of Shadows shrugs to you in farewell, but his golden eyes are alight with interest as he watches you. Goodbye. Where do we go? Yeah, we're at level 2 favor. I wonder if I can talk with him more if I asked him. How about a little breathing room, kid?
Yes.
Okay then. Nice. I like that he's been introduced as well. I mean, at some point they're gonna have all the pieces on the board, and then things will progress rather fast. Let's just have a look into this over here. So we got Bleden marked now. Impressed by your cunning ways, was pleased by your sly ways. That was sly? Really? Right, so he likes cunning and being sly. The Voices of Horath is really angry at me. Graven Ash, he likes me well enough. Tunon, we'll see how it goes. Lantry is rather loyal, but also fears me. Not enough, maybe. Barrick, nearly there for the fear ability. Verse, fears me as well as liking me. And she mainly fears me. She doesn't really trust me. Was appalled by your demanding, domineering ways. Well, get used to it. Vendering God hates me with a passion and a vengeance. Disfavored, have some favor towards me. Not that one though. Favor of the Fatebinder. Granted damage absorption shield to the target. And the Scarlet Chorus, they don't like me that much actually. I guess that sort of reflects my actions. I've been on their side in some things. So into the Maelstrom. The War of the Archons has begun. Support Graven Ash's initial attempts to pacify the Tears. I gotta meet him at Iron Hearth. The disfavored general has regrouped his forces at the mountain fortress of Iron Hearth. Travel there to discuss the Archon of War's next move. A trial of Archons. Tunon is displeased with the chaos that emerged from Vendrian's Well and believes that one of the warring Archons may be principally responsible for the civil war that now grips the Tears. As you travel the younger realms, take note of any evidence of negligence, incompetence, or outright treason found within the disfavored or Scarlet Chorus. Okay. And the evidence is all being collected. So I didn't find any evidence against the Voices of Horath yet, but I found some evidence against the disfavored during the conquest. Interesting. Stirring visions. Okay, yeah, I find a way to the Lethean's Crossing Spire. Investigate the spires. That's alright. The other things I already completed, so that's no longer interesting. That will just put back. But yeah, I think we're done here. So where should we go next? Is this here? No, this is the Sunset Spire. Oh, that is Lethean's Crossing. What's that then? Mountain Spire. Oh, that is Vendrian's Well. Right. Actually, I actually thought we had one more spire, but I guess not. Guess I was mistaking that one. Yeah, we'll definitely go towards the Sunset Spire next, to Lethean's Crossing. Try to have a look at that from the Bastard City. For now, I think I'm going to end it here. I sort of do want to keep these more towards half an hour than sort of an hour. The last episode was very long, but I do thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments so I can improve. And if you want to see more of the series in the future, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Hope you join me next time. Thanks and bye bye.